we're going to now encounter the edge. And David, introduce yourself and you're off.
Yes, thank you, everybody, and thanks, Robin. That was I've worked with Robin for a long time. It's it's great to see. We've been spread out in different places these days. But my name is Dave Heath. I'm the assistant director of the Edge, which is the challenge course on the. We're located on a big portion of the SciTech campus. And I'm going in just a second. I'm gonna bring up a slideshow that because if you don't, I mean, when I think Freedom Center and I think Fitness Center, it's pretty. Many folks are very familiar with the Freedom Center. The Edge, if you've walked around the course, you might have seen some strange wall or some climbing elements, but it may not be as familiar. So I'm going to go quickly through the slideshow to kind of explain what we are. You may see some photos of pre-COVID, or maybe I could call it possibly post-COVID as well. And I'm also going to share some information that we're doing right now. We are doing our programming is it has been very limited. We have done some both virtual programming and a little bit of in-person programming with Mason students, but with lots of restrictions. So without further ado, I'm gonna start sharing my screen here. The Edge, so we're Mason Recreation's team development and experiential learning program. And our mission statement is we challenge the members of the global community to better understand themselves, those around them, and their world by using innovative approaches that educate, inspire, and empower. And in other words, we believe in building community and working together. And we practice that by providing experiences, and whether that's doing team building, solving problems together, or talking about group development theory, or we actually have a 50-foot climbing tower out at the SciTech campus. Those are different ways that we do that. And the Edge is actually an acronym. So if you're wondering why we're not shouting at you when we have it in all caps. It stands for Energize, Develop, Grow, and Excel. And so here's an image of a couple images from where we work. If you see the image on the left is actually the total team. It's our tent that usually goes up near the total team challenge. And the one on the right is an activity that's just back in the woods behind the Hilton Performing Arts Center. So we work with adult professional programs. Obviously, this is way pre-COVID, but there's just some examples of activities. We've got people walking on. There's the Australian trolley activity where they're all working together. There's another thing called, there's the Alpine Tower is something that people are climbing on. The thing with little carabiners on it is actually a blind maze. And then there's an activity where people climb. Some of these we couldn't do right now. The blind maze we could do if people are distanced and masked up. We'd have a lot of modifications of things. We offer a variety of programs. We do specialized workshops. We have our challenge course on the SciTech campus, which is right now we can only do groups of 10. And we are, like I was showing you earlier, there's some activities you can and can't do. So we are a bit limited, and the number of people at this time would be 10 at most, but we are outdoors, and that can be an excellent day on the challenge course. We also do Edge on Wheels where we travel. And we also have virtual programming, which is some of the same. We usually do 90-minute. Sorry, I'm going to just, I don't have that info up, but we have a 90-minute programming where we do all kinds of team building activities online. It's I know a lot of folks right now have Zoom fatigue, and it's still on Zoom, but it is different. So people are getting up and in some circumstances, and I'm having, we try to use our medium as best as we can. So, I'll have people like do high fives on the screen or all kinds of other activities that we can, there are many problem solved. There's many tools you can use on Zoom that enable people to work together. And one thing that's really key to the one thing that's key to the Edge is that we don't typically just do, oh, let's climb the tower. We do have open climbs at some point, but in general, we do programs that are experiential and they follow the experiential learning cycle. So we connect to real world, what's going on in the real world. So we have these fun activities either outside or virtual, and then we reflect on the activity and connect it back. So we're really having transformational learning happening. So so the action learning cycle in this example is do the activity, do work as a team, and then we facilitators facilitate a reflection process, and then from there they develop new plans and test out those new plans and do again, and in that develop and test you can also be making connections to, oh wow, we do the same communication style all the time in the office and it works or it doesn't work, or that's really where we are big. Like we have these fun activities, but there's a method to the madness. There's a connection back to the real world. Um, Team cohesion. Some outcomes are getting people together, communicating better, trusting each other, like individual self-discovery, and just it can be really powerful shared experience. One thing that's really key to the Edge is challenge by choice. This is a philosophy that is in most challenge courses. Is you choose your level of challenge, and that usually it originated in a lot in high elements where folks, if we're not pressuring people to climb a 50-foot tower, we're asking folks to choose their level of challenge, and we're asking everyone there to also encourage that choice. So, but it does now. We found it comes into play in all kinds of ways. The number one adult fear is actually not heights or spiders. It's public speaking. So we've if we place it as a challenge by choice, we found people really engage. Oh, I have a choice in how I engage right now. It can make it a very powerful experience. Edge on Wheels custom. So that's where we go to on different sites. So one thing where we've really put this into play is this last fall was on the Fairfax campus. We traveled to the Fairfax campus and did some University 100 programming, and it was all, we all had to stand actually 10 feet apart, and we had to all mask up, and we modified our activities really well, but it was a great experience outside with the students. And we also do, again, in addition to Edge on Wheels, where we go somewhere, now we're at gatherings of 10. so we can't 10 or fewer. Um, in addition to those gatherings, we can also do Zoom activities, and um, I'm trying to think of what of you can't these well you can do this draw this one of these activities. The one on the left is they're working together to write something as a team, and that is like that's a great social distanced activity. You just have to mask up and have everybody make sure they're standing at the end of their strings. um, the An example of a online program would be where you actually there's actually drawing features on there's actually drawing features in Zoom where you can collaborate on a drawing together, and everyone has to guess what the drawing is, or similar, or one person is guessing and everyone else is trying to collaborate to draw the feature. So that's a good problem solving activity that's similar to this online. So just some benefits of if you want us to travel to you, either by going out and working with group of 10 currently, or doing an online program. And this is something that I actually did. We did one total team challenge program. I will be very selective, and we're being very selective in how we're able to manage this. These Because, well, obviously you wouldn't have people currently you wouldn't have people standing right next to each other like that, but it is possible to run this now, because all the clips are, you clip them in, walk across one at a time, and and then we just set the gear aside for the time for a certain number of days. So it's possible. We did run one in the fall. We might do one more, but we're not obviously not doing a ton of these kind of elements. The Alpine Tower is something we can't run currently unless we can find some way to keep the rope protected. But for future use, the Alpine Tower is awesome. It's a 50-foot climbing tower. I've told there's like 65 different, it looks like an hourglass. It's right behind the Hilton Performing Arts Center. I've been told it has like 65 different routes, but I'll bet you I've added one in experimentation. And it is possible for folks with disabilities there's different setups that we can do to get people to climb in normal times. So awareness. So team takeaways. We're just finding common language, learning new skills and techniques for overcoming challenges. And these goals are achieved through activities that we do. And here's some of these have been, I'm just gonna, maybe I should brag a little bit. We have had some folks from different, like a couple of years ago, we had the FBI come out and do a lot of folks from the FBI come out and do a program. We've had Leadership Prince William. We've had a great program with Vulcan Materials. We did have Amazon, some managers from Amazon come out not a couple of years ago. So we've had some pretty good programs over the years, right? The last fall, we did Leadership Prince. We did a virtual program with Leadership Prince William. This spring or this January, but most of our programs in the fall were student University 100 programs. And if you want to, our website is now edge.gmu.edu. This is our, if you're interested in finding out more information, you can send an email to that edge@gmu.edu, or you can call that number. And I'm very happy to answer any questions. Again, I'm sorry about the technical problems that I ran into.
Thank you, David. There's a question here. The question is about the sessions. Can you discuss the format of the sessions and how long they might be?
The virtual sessions?
Well, I think we might be discussing the on-the-ground sessions.
Oh, okay, yes. So normally a program for the Edge is like between 4 and 6 hours. It is currently difficult to do a full unless we're like that one unusual program that I said we did, the Total Team Challenge. That was definitely I want to say it was like a 5. That was a 4-hour program. Most of the social distance programs are about 2 hours, I'd say, because we can do a ton of team building activities. So anyway, the virtual programs are 90 minutes. The programs that the current social distancing programs we're doing are about 2 hours, but normal operations are somewhere between 4 and 6 hours. I hope that helps.
Unless Carrie has any more questions on her end, I think.
Yeah, I was wondering, for the Zoom classes, are you primarily doing those for students, or are those for groups who sign up to do, like you had the list earlier? Is that who's normally doing the virtual courses?
Yeah, well, we're definitely open to doing. Leadership Prince William was one example of a program that did a Zoom program with us recently. So most of the inquiries have been from Mason student programs, but we are doing the 90-minute virtual programs with others.
Thank you.
We're open for that business.
And one more here. Do you customize experiences for smaller groups of students, perhaps? I know you probably do that for commercial partners as well, but.
Yeah, well, so for smaller groups of students, like Mason students, I guess I'll go ahead. We definitely customize for the team, for businesses, organizations, nonprofits, government organizations. I have been running the 90-minute virtual programs, and the student programs have been pretty, I don't want to say they're like, it's not like we're like cookie cutter, oh, we're going to do the same program every time, because every group is different, and you have to, that's the one great thing about the Edge, is that we start with an idea. Okay, I have a plan, and then, oh, this group is not engaging on this activity at all. I'm going to totally change gears and do different activities. But we also take group information ahead of time, and so we do tweak our program based on the group information. So this group needs communication. So okay, well the activity I thought I was going to do, maybe I'm going to do something more like something that really focuses on communication. If that makes sense. I mean, I don't want to say we customize everything, but we do. We are very flexible in planning as well as on the day of the activity.
Well, I don't see any more questions in either one of these boxes. So David, I really appreciate you spending the time making us all aware of the features of the Edge. I know I, for one, I'm looking forward to the time when I can get out there on that trail. And having never played with an element, I'm looking forward to a few of those experiences as well.
Thanks. That is one thing I wanted to say that I forgot that I was going to bring up the map. We maintain the trail out at SciTech campus. It's called the Piedmont Trail. It's we have a volunteer event where people come and help us maintain the trail. And that the next one's coming up in April 16th. But it's a little more than a mile, and people use it for walking. I've seen folks running on it. It's a nice wooded walk. You would not almost not expect it. Oh, I've right, kind of behind the Freedom Center. There's blue jays, and there's a holly stand out there, and some oaks. So it's a nice wooded wetland back there, and that's open during daylight to the public.